Welcome to Your Story on Paper, the podcast by Happy Memory Keeping. This is a cozy space to talk about memories, about photos, about beautiful paper. But most of all, it's a place to reconnect with your story through emotion, creativity, and the little things in life. If you're here, maybe you're like me. You take tons of photos, you have moments you don't want to forget, but you're not quite sure how to keep them in a meaningful way. That's where scrapbooking comes in. And today, I want to tell you what it really is, and why, if you're listening to this, you're probably already closer to scrapbooking than you think. Scrapbooking is a creative way to document your life. It combines photos, paper, journaling, emotions, colors, and textures. But beyond the visuals, it's really about honoring what you've lived. It's telling your story with your hand stories that often stay hidden in our phones or in our minds. Scrap can be a journal entry about how you felt, a mini album with photos and quotes, a travel notebook with stickers and tags, a gratitude diary filled with washi tape and soft colors. There's no right way to do it, and definitely no wrong way. Even in the 1800s, people were gluing flowers, letters, and poems into books. But this podcast isn't about history. It's about helping you see scrapbooking as something emotional, practical, and totally doable. Something you can start today with whatever you already have at home. We take thousands of photos today. We have digital albums, cloud backups, phones full of pictures. But almost none of them tell a story. A few years ago, I lost 2 whole years of photos. My phone crashed, and just like that, everything was gone. And yes, that hurt. But what hurt more was realizing that those images didn't really say much anymore. Where was I? What was I feeling? Who took that photo? I wish I had written just one sentence, like, "Today I felt happy." That's what scrapbooking gives you, the words that photos can't capture. Let me ask you this. Do you really think you'll go back and look at all those pictures on your phone? How many photos do you take of the same moment? 10, 20? Scrapbooking helps me choose just 2 or 3 that truly matter. It makes me slow down. It helps me collect moments, not just images. And something that changed everything for me was this. I started reviewing my photos regularly. I sit down once a week to choose the ones I love, delete the rest, and start connecting with what I actually lived. Later in this podcast, I'll share my full process with you, but today, I just want you to know, small actions matter. I have boxes full of little things, movie tickets, gift tags, travel papers, stuff I kept without knowing why. But now, when I find them, they mean more to me than a perfect picture ever could. They take me back. They help me feel again. That's the real value of scrapbooking. Saving what time usually erases. Scrapbooking isn't just about today, it's about the future. For your future self. Or for someone who might one day want to know who you were. I have photo albums from my childhood. From my mom, my siblings, from me. But there are no dates, no stories, no words, and I wish there were. I wish my mom had written down what she felt. What that moment meant to her. Just one sentence. Now, I choose to leave those things behind. I want someone to open my albums and hear my voice in the pages. You might think scrapbooking is too complicated, that you need a bunch of tools or artistic skills. But you don't. You can start with a notebook, a pen, and a photo. That's it. Scrapbooking isn't about making something perfect. It's about remembering on purpose. No one's grading you. No one's judging your handwriting. You decide what's worth saving. And if something ever made you feel something, it deserves to be on paper. Now, imagine it's 10 years from now. You open one of your old scrapbooks. You read your own words. What do you want them to say? What would your future self thank you for? Life moves fast, and scrapbooking asks just one thing. Don't let it pass without leaving a mark. Now picture this. You're at home, and you find an old photo album. Maybe it's yours, maybe it's your parents'. You flip through it. You see a birthday, a trip, a meal, but do you really know what happened that day? Who was there? What made that moment special? Will you still remember just by looking at the image? And what about when you're no longer around, or when your memory isn't as clear? That's why stories matter. Here's a little list of things you can write down with your photos. to help remember what really matters. When it happened, where you were, who took the picture, what was going on, what you were thinking, how you felt, something funny or unexpected, a quote someone said, something that's now gone or has changed, and why that moment still feels important. These little notes make a photo come alive. And if you don't know what to write, here's a trick. Imagine you're telling someone the story behind the picture. A friend, a loved one, your child. Say it out loud. Describe what was happening, why it mattered. Speaking helps you realize you do have something to say. You just have to listen and write it down. Thank you for being here, for listening, for taking a moment for yourself. This was the first episode of Your Story on Paper. And if it made you think, if it made you smile or remember something, then you've already started scrapbooking in your heart. Subscribe so you don't miss what's next. Because this isn't just a podcast. It's a space to reconnect with your life, with what you feel, with what you don't want to forget. I'll be back soon. Until then, save your story and remember beautifully.